The JUTC in August of this year, when I began, was pretty much a company, and to a large extent the overall picture is just beginning to move, but not necessarily, I would say, in a dramatic way as yet. But it is a company losing somewhere in the region of over $250 million per month. We were having a fare box that was under $200 million per month to take care of expenses of nearly $600 million. We had a bus fleet of somewhere in the region of 400, and 150 of those buses were in even if not in disrepair, were in need of repairs, meaning that they had been off the road for some of them for up to periods of over 500 days. Today, I think JUTC has managed, through a small fare increase, we have managed to move our revenues to over $300 million per month. We are now at about $320 million. And we have managed to bring back online over 100 of our buses that were at some level of disrepair in August of this year. That has been done mainly because we have been able to import into Jamaica about 6 containers of parts, and we are working almost overtime on a daily basis to make sure that we bring back all our units in service and we keep them on the road by instituting and maintaining a proper program of both preventative checks and to deal with our running repairs as soon as they arise. The fare table, as you know, has never been one that the company is completely satisfied with, because the yield from all our routes just cannot take care of our expenses. In addition, the company had been awaiting spare parts for in excess of 6 months, and that made the situation where more and more of our buses were sitting in the depots awaiting those parts to go back on the road. So I would say that we were a very challenged company in August of this year, but progressively we are removing those challenges, and I would say we are reaching now a stage of stability in our operations. Well, as you know, JUTC operates as an exclusive license holder in the KMTR. We are to garner from our operating fares enough revenues to take care of the company's operations, while the government takes care of the capital needs of the JUTC. So you could say it's a fairly heavily subsidized company in terms of our capital needs. But in terms of our current needs, it is not. We are very cash-starved, and as a result, we have to operate within a framework of trying to put out the best that we can in terms of the operating imperatives, in terms of conservation of our revenues, and in terms of cost compression, both in the maintenance side as well as the other high-cost items such as fuel, which costs us somewhere in the region of $1.5 billion per year. In Jamaica, the first word out is usually what stays, and people said it was a doubling of fares. The fact is that the transfer system had developed a level of inefficiency. We were moving people in half a tree. We were allowing them to wait there for long times before they could move on to their onward journeys. There was a level of operating inefficiency. On top of that, it represented a revenue leak for the company, because on some of our routes, which were called transfer routes, all passengers were entitled to a transfer ticket, whether or not they needed to use it. And therefore, approximately half of those people who we transferred perhaps were not going onwards. And we had people in the transport center who were offering tickets, and that represented a revenue leakage for the company. We think we have looked at the entire situation. We have put through routes. So in many of those cases, the transfer buses that ended in half a tree now go to the end of the line. So those persons who want to go downtown will be able to go downtown. Now, if you go to half a tree, it is by choice. So you would have to pay to reconnect in what we call the transfer pool. In addition, because the way the system was set up, if someone needed to do something in Halfway Tree and then do something downtown, as long as you could operate within a certain time window, I think of 2 hours, you'll be able to go downtown for free. Now, if you're going to Halfway Tree to do business and then you need to go on downtown, then you will have to pay again. But overall, this system is better for the vulnerable because it gets them there quicker and in most cases, one fare. It is very relentless and it will not be stopped, because I went to the company and found where we had a revenue leakage estimate of somewhere in the region of 5%. Everything that I've looked at since that tells me that it is perhaps more than that. And there are opportunities for leakages. There are opportunities in that most of our revenues are collected directly by the drivers. They are in control of the buses, and we were only checking it on a random basis using revenue monitors. So somebody can go onto the bus, pay, and get no ticket. In addition, persons used to go to the Halfway Tree Center and buy tickets and use those tickets to enter buses. We have discontinued that. When you have to pay now as you enter the bus, because under the old system of buying a ticket in Halfway Tree Transport Center and then go on a bus, we found that it permitted people to go on using all kind of tickets. Some were incorrect routes, some were used already, some were the wrong tickets, and various combinations of things. So we have strengthened the revenue monitoring division. In fact, we have expanded it to a new division called Franchise Protection and Inspection, which enables us to look at the entire operation and take the necessary actions which are necessary to protect the franchise from any threat, external or internal. And revenue conservation is one of the critical things that we need to guard against. My short-term goal is to bring the company revenues to $400 million per month. As I said, when I went, it was about 2. It is now at about 320, and I intend to move it to 4. So if we move our monthly revenues to 400 million, that will give us enough cash flow to deal with not only our outstanding obligations, but also it will be able to finance a number of our programs, including our maintenance programs, on a timely basis. We'll be able to train up our mechanics to a higher level, because the equipment that they are maintaining is sophisticated equipment, and more is coming in. We have 20 new articulated buses and getting 73 buses at the end of the first quarter next year. So we have more new equipment that is coming, and therefore we have to ensure that we have a maintenance operation in the JUTC that can take care of the equipment and keep them on the road, because that's the only way we make money. In terms of the long-term goal, I would like to get the company in a position where we can function within the company's fare box, which should be about 400 million per month, plus the subsidies that the government gives us, and that will enable us to have an operation that at least breaks even. In addition, operationally, I would like to see a company that is efficient, that is very customer friendly and reacts to customer needs. Our bus company basically is a good bus company, but we have operating problems, both at the operations levels and at the maintenance levels. And my vision is to smooth out those challenges and to ensure that we are a company that is rated like any other first world transport.